Hey, this is Tim, licensed loan officer. Welcome to the channel. On this video, we're going to talk about how much can I afford? Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Timothy. I am a licensed loan officer. I've been in the mortgage industry for about 5 years. If you're looking to buy a home, contact me. I might be able to help get you pre-approved or help you refinance if I'm licensed for that state. I want to let you know what this channel is about. This channel is all about first-time home buyers, refinancing, leveling up, budgeting, credit, all types of stuff. So you like those kind of topics like finance, consider subscribing to this channel. Now, one of the most common questions I get as a loan officer is how much can I afford? And that's a legitimate question, but I'll give you a step or recommendation is that you should somewhat do a budget and kind of see what you want to pay. Sometimes that may not be applicable in your area, depending on home prices, but you kind of want to have an idea of what you want. Because if you just go to a lender and ask, like, how much can I afford? We're in the business of loan amount. The higher the loan amount is usually the more money we make or how much. So we'll give you a higher payment. We'll give you the largest loan amount. And sometimes that gives you more buying power where you can put more offers in, but you may get stuck with a little bit higher payment than you can afford. And we want to set you up for success. We go off of your gross income. So with your gross income is not what you bring home because, benefits, taxes, insurance, things like that come out of your check. So do a little budget and also with your lifestyle, because if you're someone that's going to be a homebody, then you might want a little higher mortgage payment. But if you like to travel, then you might want a little bit lower payment because you're not there. You do a little bit of traveling. So it's a personal preference. So do a little budget. And then have a conversation with the lender, like I'm paying X amount in rent. This is kind of where I want to be. This is kind of like my max. Have some of those numbers and then see if it works for you. That's just a little tip. But let me get into some tips of how you can figure out how much you can afford before you contact a lender. Okay. Buying power. Can you see this okay here? Can I zoom in? Oh, I can zoom in. Look at that. I can make it big. So the first thing what you can do is let's just say you make $6,000 gross monthly. Remember, we go off of monthly in the mortgage industry, not annually. We go at monthly and we go off of gross. We go off of before taxes, before anything comes out of your check, we go off of gross. So one thing you could do is add up your gross or divide your salary by 12. So let's just say it's $6,000 gross monthly or $72,000 annually. You can time that by 0.3, and that equals about $1,800. Now, I want to let you know that some loan programs let you go up to higher than 0.3. You actually can go up to 0.36. But generally speaking, you want to stay under 30% because this is just your mortgage payment, your taxes and insurance, maybe mortgage insurance if you don't put 20% down. So that's a quick way you can figure out would be $1,800, and that's $1,800 out the door. But this does not include some of your other bills or obligations, okay? Now, another way you can do it, and I like this way too, you could take your annual salary and time it by 3. So for example, if you make $72,000, you could time it by 3 and that equals $216,000. Now take this with a grain of salt because if you don't have any student loans, no car payment, no credit cards, nothing like that, then this number will be higher. But let's say you have a car payment and some student loans, then this number will be lower. But these are great ballparks for you, 0.3 and 0.12. And the next step, what you do is I recommend go to Zillow, maybe Realtor.com, Trulia, whatever online site, and see if there's any payments. If you scroll down on any of those sites, it gives you an estimate payment. Now, remember, those payments, take them with a grain of salt because they do them with 20% down. And most first-time home buyers don't put 20% down. So change the down payment on those to 3% or 5%, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you're going to put down. But that's one way, or these are two quick ways you can figure out how much you can afford. And you want to run your numbers and kind of do your own kind of math before you contact a lender, because when you contact a lender, they're going to want you to apply, or they're going to want to pull your credit, and they're going to get the process going. But if you're not comfortable or you're not sure about your payment or how much you can afford, sometimes you don't want to contact a lender because you don't want to get in a spot where you're approved but it's like too high, or you're putting yourself, stressed. You want to set yourself up for success. You want a nice, comfortable mortgage payment if you can. Now, I know there's some markets where it can be really tough, but don't give up. Remember, sometimes your income will go up. Sometimes you get bonuses and things like that. Now, I want to talk about debt to income. Debt to income plays a very important part. Like I said, if you have other obligations. So with debt to income, it uses your gross income minus all your minimum payments on your credit report. So lenders have a system that adds up minimum payments. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you owe $3,000 on a credit card and your payment is $30. Only the $30 go towards your debt to income, not the $3,000. So a lot of first-time home buyers think, I have a lot of debt, but it depends on the monthly payments. Now, it's a way lenders gauge how much of your income is already committed to debt and leaves less for a new mortgage payment. So debt to income is a very important part when it comes to getting approved. It's not just your credit score. You can have really good credit or high credit score, but if you have a lot of other debt, like higher monthly payments, that goes against your debt to income. Now, there are some ways that you could lower your debt to income, okay? Now, one way is to reduce your debt. Now, this sounds easier than said, but that is one way you can do, is reduce your debt. Well, actually, all these I'm about to go over are easier said than done. You can increase your income. So if you can get a raise, a promotion, if you could maybe get a higher paying job, that helps your debt to income. And another way, you can consolidate all your debt. So sometimes if you have 4 or 5, a lot of different credit cards, you consolidate them all into one low, affordable monthly payment. That will help your debt to income. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped you understand how much you can afford. Now, I know I went over this and you may be self-employed. Self-employed is a little bit different. And I'll go over this briefly for you. If you're self-employed, they're going to go off of the last 2 years of tax returns. Now, there's some programs where it's 1 year of tax returns, but they're going to go off of your taxable income, not the income you made before all your expenses. Your taxable, what you pay taxes, and that can be sticky. And there's some other situations like 1099 where you're not really sure. If you have questions or you don't fit into a W-2, drop me a comment. I'd love to respond and see if I can help you. Remember, if you're in the market to buy a home, you can contact me. If I'm licensed for your state, I would love to help you. But these are some quick ways, if you're W-2, to figure out how much you can afford. And again, if you're like self-employed, take your last 2 years of tax return, taxable income, and divide it by 12. And that will be your gross monthly income. And then you do the 0.3. So, but if you have questions, drop me a comment. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.